you already home?
Yes, I'm home now.
Okay, okay. I was thinking the platform is a little bit heavy, so it needs really good internet. So, but I can hear you very well.
Yes, I've been using Airtel internet, but because you've told me that it might need some good internet, I switched to Mango.
Yeah. Do they still have Mango? I used to use Mango and it was very good, very quick, but then it will fly as like it will finish before a month.
Yes,
That was the problem with Mango.
we still use it and a bit using that to finish, very quick to finish to end.
Yeah, but it's a very, very stable internet.
Yeah,
I
that's
loved
why
it
I
for
switched
sure.
to Mango.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And it's been quite some time. We haven't talked for ages. Like you have a phone call or chat about this and that. It's been quite some time.
For hearing one another on the voice, it's been a while. I think
Yeah.
time it was when you were in Italy. I think I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I think
I think it was in 2022,
I
end
think
of
so.
2022.
I
Yeah,
think
where
so.
we had a weekly meetings, and oh my god, that's a long time.
It's been a while. It's
That's a
been a
long.
while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. Anyways, why don't you? I don't want to introduce you. Why don't you tell people who JP is? Jean Paul Niyongabo.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, you've mentioned my name. I'm Jean Paul Niyongabo. I'm pure Burundian, but currently living in Rwanda as a refugee. Currently working as data analyst. Yes, and currently with a passion in data analysis by analyzing financial analysis of the companies, performance-based analysis, um, yeah, things like those ones, and also not only on the financial and performance, including like the warehouse purchases, the purchases that are needed, analyzing the data of the customers based on the purchases, things like those ones, like what they can predict on the purchases they can make, things like those ones. Yeah.
Sounds like an interesting job. I really like data and doing data analysis because you get to see how the numbers affect the business. And
Yes.
this organization is called These Numbers Have Faces. Well, you can see the numbers on the dashboard, but those numbers represent something. They represent a real business. That's the good thing with data analysis. And I
Yes.
think, that's interesting. I think the last time we talked to you, you were not doing this job, right? You were into sales and kind of things.
Yes, I've been getting opportunity to learn many things because like my first job was sales. The second one was project management. Third one was business development. Now I'm into data analysis.
You
And
know the next one?
I don't know,
Managing Director of Jibu International.
but
Yeah, but you can do it.
yes, I can. But I feel like I can have that wide mind with supporting a lot of people into doing my own thing, not like being an employee. Because once you are an employee, your thinking is a bit limited. Yes, it is good, it helps, and also you are supporting a lot of people, but also having your own thing, putting all your ideas, including others' ideas, you are going to be having like a large thing, a wide thing that is going to be helping a lot with your passion. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You know what they say, as an entrepreneur,
Yes.
and then you have a job, you are employed somewhere. So it's an opportunity for you to test some of your ideas on somebody's money, not your own money. So
Yes.
it's you will be a managing director of Jibu, and then you test some of your ideas. When you fail, it's not on you. It's Jibu's cash. And when you succeed, you take a note of it. You're like, okay, this works. Possibly I will apply it in my own businesses. Yeah, but I think it's a good way to start. You get employed
Yes.
somewhere, you manage something big, and then you get to develop the expertise and also a network of people, so that
Yes.
when you start your own thing, you will have people to call, and then people who will listen and be willing to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I,
That's true.
I think it's yeah, but it's a good progress, I would say. Uh, Looking at where you started in 2021 and now where you are in 2024, it's um it's an interesting progress,
Yeah,
and
everything good.
yeah, it's an interesting progress, and it's very impressive for a refugee guy in Rwanda. You made it, I would say, for because I know most of Rwandans would love to have the job you're having now.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Because even like I'm not going to pray myself, but among the team, because this was a new position that was coming to the company, it was not there among the team, and I had other things to do because like the business the development I was doing. Last year was the best performer,
Hmm.
and the job still there. But because of restructuring, that was happening in the company, and was the new title that was coming. They missed one to give the job. Then I was the one to qualified for it.
Hmm.
Means like there are a lot who can wish to have it. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a reputation of of taking something new and then make it work. So you you've built your credibility within the company, so that's why they gave you the position. Yeah,
yeah. That's
congratulations,
true.
man.
Thank you so much.
When did you start the position?
In February.
Feb. Okay,
Yeah,
it's very new, and
yeah, it's very
yeah,
new.
I know it's a challenging one. You have to learn so many things, so many different
Yes.
softwares, so many.
Yeah, even currently I'm taking data analytics from ALEX.
Okay.
Yeah.
They they the Mathematical Institute, right?
No, it is African Leadership X.
Okay.
Yes.
African Leadership. I know
It
it's
is
connected to
African Leadership
African Leadership
University. Yes, it
University.
means it is under African Leadership Academy.
Okay, it's a
Yeah.
for the
So maybe,
Swanika.
yeah.
Perfect. It's an opportunity for you, man. And I think I remember when we were back in Burundi. I don't think you would have dreamed of doing that or having those kind of positions,
Truly
because
speaking, I didn't have that mind of business management or business analysis. I was having this mind of being a nurse or a doctor.
ah, so you wanted to be a doctor. Okay, another crushed dream.
Yes, but currently I'm not regretting because like I'm in a wide area whereby I can even be supporting people. Once like I can have a clinic. I'll be supporting a lot of people instead of being like a doctor who is supporting like certain number of people.
Yeah, yeah, it's that's a good way to go. I I remember when I was back in Burundi in 20 9 10. Yeah, so you remember I wanted to do computer science, so I wanted to be a world class computer scientist, and good enough, I get into the school. But before I
Yes.
know it, I was in Rwanda as a refugee, and then the dream was crushed. I just completed my high school in computer science, but then when I wanted to go to do this specialization, I would say, for an undergrad in computer science, I couldn't find a scholarship for that. I was like, well, okay, let me go do business management. And that was what happened. After 6 months in the program, I was like, this is the best place I should have been. So I was like, no, 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 I don't want to be the computer scientist. This is the best place to be. Uh, and it makes
Yeah.
sense for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
that's true.
same.
That's true. The same as me. The same as me. Like actually, like few days ago, I was mentioning if I become a president, I would shut off the universities except medicine and law.
Well, I don't think that's a good idea, but yeah.
Yes, because I've seen like my first 6 months at the university, that was the best time I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning like having 6 months training is enough to put someone on the job market or out there to look for ends meet.
I would say for a very functioning economy, for a very developed economic system, that would be very that would be enough for somebody to survive and be able to make ends meet. But looking at the sub-Saharan Africa economy and the ecosystem over there, it will be very difficult for somebody to train for 6 months, as we did, let's say, at the first 6 months at Kepler, and then be able to go at the job market, because some people need to see that you have some degrees on your name and be able to trust you. But I agree 100% for a very developed economy. Uh, it's a 6 month or 9 month or whatever will be enough for somebody to go to the job market and excel. Actually,
Yeah, that's true. But also, you've mentioned that it's because of trust issue. And the people are still valuing degrees instead of something that is in mind.
yeah, but it's also still. I would say it's not only on the low income countries or the underdeveloped economies, but also, let's say, here in Europe, they value to see you having, let's say, a master's degree, and then you apply for a job. They'll be like, okay, now we can talk.
Yes.
But if you don't have the degree, but you have really the skill, for the skill based assessment, you really qualify. But for the certificates or qualification assessment, you don't have those degrees. They'll be like, we don't know. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's a bit of to assess somebody based on the papers, not on based on what he or she can do. It's still something. Yeah,
Okay, okay. But
yeah.
once I'm the president, that
You will shut down.
I can't be having my people wasting their times, their 4 years instead of looking for ends meet.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what we need. In But also, we at the end of the day, when you have the people who can do things, then you need a cohort of people who are thinkers, who are developing skill sets, who are developing new ideas, because otherwise, at the end of the day, the social system will collapse. So the universities are really needed. I remember last month I was talking with my flatmates here, my friends, and then we said, well, what is the role of higher education actually? What is the role of a university in a society? And it was interesting because everyone was like, interesting question. What is the role? Yeah, it seems like we just, I have to go there because the society tells me, okay, you have to go there, get your degree, and then you go out to the job market. But at the end, we found the role of higher education is to keep the society going, functioning, make sure you have people who can think on their own, who can be independent thinkers and possibly incites others to think as well. Yeah, but it's a different thing from different parts of the world. Uh, but it was interesting to discuss the question actually. Yeah.
That means a few days ago on your end and our end here also we're having a kind of similar discussion around universities.
Interesting.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's wow, it's for me when I try to look around and think what is actually the role of universities. Most of the time you don't go there to learn or get trained into something very specific. You just go there, develop your capacity of thinking, learn some basics, how to write, how to read, how to analyze information. But really, if you get a 6 month training into something very, very specific, you will excel at the job market
Yes.
even more than
Yes.
somebody who has a 4 year degree, to be honest.
Of course, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Anyways, we some people don't know, but me and JP Jean Paul, we lived together we know each other since a long time from Burundi, but also in Rwanda when we became refugees out of blue in 2015. How old were you when you arrived in Rwanda in 2015? But for me, I think I was 18, 19.
Yes, actually, me, I was about to turn 20 because
Mm-hmm.
I got into Rwanda in 2015 in May,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 19 with actually 7 months. Yeah,
Ah, okay, almost 20. Yeah.
almost 20.
So we were little boys trying to figure out things in our high schools
Yes.
that we haven't yet done with the secondary school. What was your first impression when you arrived in Mahama refugee camp in Rwanda?
Um, hmm. Actually, the way I was thinking about it was a bit different. Like I was think as to see miserable people there, but I came to find out that people were trying to figure out how they can survive. But based on a lot of people in a small area, you could also see some desperate people. But um, the impression I go personally is to see that um, I'm going to continue the studies. I had no hope to continue, but to see that I'm going to
Just
keep on studying, well, that was the first impression, and to see that people are still happy while they are refugees.
yeah, it's interesting. You talking about education. For me, I was like, what am I going to do if I don't get to continue and finish my high school? I'm 19, 20 years old, and I don't know anything about life. I don't have any degree. I don't know anything. How am I going to survive in this world? So my first thought was like, how can I get back to school and finish? You know the funny thing, you
Yes,
remember in was it in November or July or something? I don't know if it was in September or whatever. It was in July, I guess. They started building some schools,
hence,
tents.
yes,
Tents. We
yes,
go to study English, improve the English, and then I studied the math and some couple of subjects. For me, in the middle of that, you remember Calve and Robert.
yes,
Do you know them? Yeah.
yes, I know.
Those were my friends back in Mahama refugee camp. So we were studying together, actually, like in the same class. So they did veterinary and agronomy, I think, and then for
Yes,
me, I was in computer science. So the thought was, how are we going to get into those programs? Because as far as we knew, the government of Rwanda and the UNHCR, they were building schools, but not for the technical things, veterinary,
yes, yes,
medicine, or computer science. So we're like, so we will go and study geography, history, and economy, and then we'll be done, and we'll forget all those things. But something in my mind was, no, guys, we will get it. Don't worry, we will get into those schools, those programs outside this refugee camp. They laughed at me. They were like, you crazy. How are you going to get into those schools? First of all, it's very expensive. Second of all, every Rwandan is also competing to get into those programs because obviously they are very specific. You get trained in computers and how to use computers or being a veterinary or agronomy. It's different from general education. So they were laughing at me, but I was convinced. Till today, I don't know why. I was convinced we will get into those schools. Before we know it, do you know what happened? To
and
some
exactly what.
reasons, and I don't know what, how it worked. I got into the program. They We did the exam. You remember? I got
Yes,
I scored very good. They did as well. I got into the program in the schools, those boarding schools. Continued my computer science education or high school, and they did not. While they had the exact same score as I did in the exam, and they were eligible for that, but they couldn't get into the program or get into the schools. And I'm like, wait a second. Actually, whatever you say about you, think about it because it might happen. It might affect you. And until today, I am like, hmm, if I'm going to say something and it feels like it's a bad thing, I would prefer to shut up.
we know it.
I prefer to shut up for sure. But but I said I will call one day, have a chat with them and ask, what were you thinking when you said this actually, if you can remember in 2015? Why was that? Because to some reason I was like, we will get into that. And to some reasons they were like, no, you're not. We're not going to. It's
Yes, actually,
surprising.
truly speaking, because I think I got in Mahama a bit late compared to others because I got there once the schools were already lit. But I didn't lose that hope to study at a good school.
Mm-hmm.
Since I got to Mahama, I had it in my mind that I have to study into a boarding school. I was not
Mm-hmm.
sure where it is going to come from, but my mind was set like that. And by miracle, it happened. Even like what, okay, I didn't study to the school that was in my mind because officier Dobutare that was into my mind. But
Okay.
the the courses I needed, like this chemistry and biology,
Mm-hmm.
biochemie. in which I was studying in Burundi, I was well convinced that I have to keep on studying the same. And what I was believing, it became true.
Yeah, it's
But once I got into Mahama, my mind was set to doing business immediately.
immediately.
Because yes, because I was not sure if there are some schools, and I came even like to look for how I can do business. But once I got there and I found the schools are there, I immediately jumped into school, start
Okay.
studying languages. I was with Onole.
Mm.
Onole, that was the first person I met, and also he became my best friend since today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's interesting. I don't understand how things happen. You start believing it, and then the next time you say it, and then before you realize it, just happened.
Yeah.
Just happened.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I learned something very interesting when I arrived in Mahama. I lived with a guy who was a refugee back in years in Tanzania, and then he told me something. Look, you're young. I've been a refugee before, but you see this refugee camp. This is 2015. At least the minimum time people are going to spend here. This is going to be at least the minimum 5 years. You know what I said? Shut up. I cannot live here 5 years. I don't think anybody's going to be here in 5 years. Within a month, we will be home. We'll be back home.
Yes.
Yeah. And in 2017, almost finishing up, getting ready for the national exam,
Yes.
for the final exam, I was like, whoa, 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 wait a second. This is 2 years now. Like, okay, 2 years already, and I didn't even remember. So when we were at Kepler in 2018, I was
Yes.
like, yeah, during COVID, yeah, okay, now it's 5 years. Yeah.
Yes.
It was like interesting. So it's funny if you see something starting or something has already started, you don't know when this is going to end. To be honest, just focus on the life, live the life. Don't make the life depend on it. Just live it
Do you
because
know
you
that?
don't control that.
Do you
Yeah.
know that that thing you're mentioning has affected me a lot? Even currently, like because when I was coming from Burundi to Rwanda, most of the things I came from school. Most of the things I left at the school thinking that I will go back that soon. I went home. From also home, I left other things from home to I left them to home when
Mm-hmm.
I was coming to Rwanda. I think that in 1 month, in 2 weeks, I'm going back. But
Yeah.
since I started working, even my workmates used to tell me this, like whenever we go to field where we can sleep there,
Mm-hmm.
anything that I may need, you can see me with it.
Obviously. Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
see me with it. Whereby they sometimes they say you are accustomed with being a refugee. You know that you can go somewhere and don't go back
True.
because
True.
you can see me with an iron.
Yeah.
You can see me with enough crops because like I was affected with it, whereby I maybe I can think like, what if I go there and I don't go back?
Yeah. It's used to be a refuge. Oh my god. It's the same. When I go, even if I go to see a friend and then I know I will be back in the afternoon. No, I'm like, no, no. I take an extra pair of t-shirts or pants, and then I get my laptop always and every say, even if it happens I'm going to spend 2 days there, I'll be okay. I'll have my laptop, I have everything I need, and then I'll have an extra pair of pants and shirts or t-shirts. And it's, yeah, things can happen. You can go somewhere and then, yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen. You spend an extra day or
Yes,
an
that's
extra
true,
week.
and it even happened to me. I went to Mahama from Kigali thinking that I would be back the same day, but
Hmm.
based on the thing I was going to look for, I didn't get it, and I kept getting promise like you're getting tomorrow this time, you're getting tomorrow this time. I had to buy other clothes because I 3 days
Oh
there
my god.
while I went as Jean Paul with the clothes I wear even without my computer.
Oh my god.
Yes. Everything
Never do that
I
again.
was doing it on the phone, and also I had to buy other clothes so that I can change.
Just that's an experience. Now you have
Yeah.
to go with everything. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you
it's
have to be prepared every time because
yeah,
you don't know what can happen.
yeah. It's where I left also the school. I didn't take anything from school because it was in the second term, so we were home. So we were getting ready to go back to school for the third term, and then everything was at school. My notebooks, my suitcase, and everything. So I left them. So the classmates will call me and say, "Hey, please come to school. What's yeah, you come to school, whatever." And then I was like, "Yeah, I know. Within a week or two, I'll be back to school. Don't worry." And I had this desk mate, this girl. She's called Aline. For sure, I will thank her. I don't know when I will see her, but I will for sure. I appreciate what she did. She took notes,
Yes.
every single notebook. She would ask friends, "Hey, he's coming back. Can you help me so we can take notes for him?" And like
Wow.
she did everything. But unfortunately, I disappointed her. I couldn't go back. So I'm like, Jesus Christ. You leave a country, you still have 100% hope. Home is always home. You want to go
Yes.
back, and at the end, now it's almost 10 years. Ten
Yes.
years. I don't even know what Burundi looks like now. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
home is home, always a home. I know we'll go back.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
absolutely,
definitely. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
What I used to tell my friends when I was there, it's like, well, look, guys, we are refugees, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But what I know, don't die. Do not die. Just keep yourself. Not saying dying and then you get buried, but don't die as a living dead man or woman. You know
Yeah,
what happened in 2015, 16, something. Yeah.
yeah,
At the end, even if, let's say, you don't go back there, but are you living your life in that place, whether you are a refugee or wherever you are? So it's, if you don't die, you will absolutely go back home, or you will have a life wherever you live. It's it's interesting. Yeah. Well, I
yes.
also, yes, please.
Uh, Mentioning to what you said, don't die, or live as a dead living person. There is something I learned a few days. I think it's 2 weeks ago. If
Hmm.
you change the way you say things, those things change. That
Yeah.
thing is helping me nowadays. Like you can be having a negative mind all the way you are seeing things because in a refugee camp, like when we go there in 2015, you could you could see like there is no future ahead of you, like losing hope based on how you'll be seeing people, things like the support we're getting, and you see like there is no future. Even hearing the situation from your country, looking around the income you are getting, you see like the the world, like the earth has turned down on you. But when you try to change to change the way you are seeing things and try to think out of the box, or to see those things in two different ways, you get like you develop a positive mind whereby that those things are not going to change, but the way you see them change, even you find yourself in a better situation compared to the situation you were before having like that negative mind. I realized it once I got that quote, but I thought I tried to think around my 2015, my 2018, once I graduated from secondary. I remember once, well, reading that Meso Shalom House.
Yeah.
Um, Truly speaking, my 2018 was the best experience I've ever had.
It's amazing. I remember that time. Oh my
Yes,
God.
my 2018 was, even once I'm trying to look back my 2018, that is the year I compare it with today.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes,
It's
because that's where I got to know refugee life. That's when I got to know how I can try harder to see how I can survive. And also that's when I got even the opportunity to that opened the doors I'm in today. I entered today. Truly my
yeah.
2018, yeah, when you change the way you see things, those things change.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is when you change how you see things, you start thinking not only outside the box. Somebody told me he taught me something interesting. It's called Scott. I think he's a university professor or teacher,
Yes.
whatever.
Mm.
He taught me something interesting. Thinking outside the map. So we were living in 105 hectare in Mahama refugee camp, very small place with around 70, more than 70,000 people there.
Yes.
And when you live with people who have no hope, like no hope, they
You
don't
lose it.
see any, you lose it. And I was like, but if you try to change the way you see the situation, and then you start thinking outside Mahama refugee camp, you start not only thinking outside the box. Well, you can sit, you can, I mean, think outside the box, but you're still in the same map. You're still thinking the same map. So he was like, not only thinking outside the box, but also thinking outside the map. I thought that's interesting. If you are living in Mahama and then you manage to think outside the Mahama refugee camp, to be honest, whoever did that, he or she was able to escape that life. It's it's an interesting thing to see how people have lost their life there and others have gained their life there. It's amazing. When we were building that um Mahama Mahama Elite Center, the Meso
Literature.
Sharom, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, something interesting happened. People, you remember the engineer came, and then he came. He was like, "Hey, there is a guy. They told me he did computer science. Blah blah blah. I want to help me to type some, design some Excel sheets and whatever." And then I
Yes.
raised my hand. The guy who was uh the the lead of the how do we call them actually? How do we call
Um,
them
their
in
names.
Kirundi or in Iran? Yeah, no, no. How do we usually call them? Those head of les chefs du chantier. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to call them. So he was like, no, no, I can do that. Don't worry. I can do that. I can also help with that. But the engineer was like, no, no, you have your job to control everybody here. So let him do that. The thing, they were not happy to see me getting pause, I would say, wash my hands and then go to a laptop, design those Excel sheets, put the formulas, and then record all the attendances and everything. So the guys were not happy. They were like, no, 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 no. We don't want this guy to, we want him to go there and continue working in this construction job, which I didn't mind for sure. To be honest, I didn't mind. But they were not happy to see a guy who was supposed to be under their feet, who is now like, he's talking with the engineer. Maybe he's going to say what we are doing here, what's happening. Because you remember, they were not happy to have us. They were like, those students, they don't deserve to be here. Then they
Yes.
tried to mistreat us. But I'm glad we were like, no, 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 let's persevere and continue working. And I really liked the group. We, for sure, to be honest, we managed, and we did the best we could for sure. 2018, yeah, we learned what life is as a refugee
Yeah,
in at least
yeah,
in Rwanda, in sub-Saharan Africa.
yeah.
It's it's insane. But now look at you, look at me, look at what happened.
Even I can
Life
even
changes.
compare like the pictures from that time to current pictures. It two different people.
Yeah, it's two different people, two different mindsets, two different level of education,
Yeah.
and two different experiences. It's interesting, and also, well, how did you see the support we were getting from the UNHCR, the different services in Mahama refugee camp, at least from 2015 up to 2018, let's say. How did you see that?
Hmm. Truly speaking, because I didn't live into another camp or another situation like that, I
Yeah,
don't know what other people get, but um, there was okay. We're getting basic support, but also getting it with mistreatment. Even today,
yeah,
they're still getting it, that mistreatment, because like you can be deserving a service, but to get it is going to be a very hard thing. The support we're getting, the services, okay, we thank God, like we're in a good country whereby people work under rules, trying to support, but truly speaking, though the support was there, I personally didn't like the treatment we're getting. The treatment we're getting. You can
yeah,
get something, but also like yes, you get used to it because like you think it's the life, it's how everyone should be because you don't know other places. But the support we're getting it that basic one, but the mistreatment. Personally, I didn't like the mistreatment. But generally, truly they were trying to help because also Jado, I can also try to understand them like
yeah.
supporting 70 people with
70,000.
yes, I
Yeah,
mean 70,000 people, and not a lot of people to do that. Like also you can get quite tired. You can be getting like noise. You can be getting different things that is challenging your mind, and you find yourself getting giving bad service, not out of your characters, because of the situation you are finding yourself in. I can't judge them based on the number of people they had to support, but we're getting that basics
Yeah.
service, basic support. But I, for on the treatment, truly speaking, it was not that good.
No, it was not good because people would lie as well. Say,
Ye-
okay, come
Yes,
tomorrow, it's fine. I will be here and then I will help you. Then you get the hope, okay, I'll go back tomorrow and then he or she will help me. And then when you get there, you say, hey, I'm looking this person. He told me to come today so he can help me. And then they are like, no, he's on a leave for a week. He's not here until next week. And then you get
that thing
surprised.
even in even today is still happening because
Yeah,
like
it still
in the 20
happens.
in the 2022 I went there to pick my passport. Truly speaking, it took me. I went 3 times.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, the first one I spent 2 days there, telling me that we are coming to tomorrow this time. You are
Yeah.
going to get it, and by the time I'm going into a meeting, the second day, um, he he's not coming today, and I went back also the other time. Also, I get the same situation. We're having visitor today. I can't support anyone. Blah, blah. It took me 3 times to go there in Mahama to get it. I waited
Yeah.
for 3 days so that I can get it. Also, I was promised to get it morning 9. I got it at 5.
Jesus. Yeah,
The
it's
treatment is still there, but
yeah.
we survived. Still
Yeah, we
surviving.
survived. Well, one thing I really focused on, or my mind was telling me to focus on, is look, the treatment is not good, but try to find a way out. Because most of the people there, I would say young people, we did we did not know what's happening outside because we've lived in Mahama refugee camp for ages and then we don't know what's going on outside. Until we get to Kepler to do our undergrad, we meet other people, we meet other refugees from other refugee camps in Rwanda, and then we make friends. We go into the workplaces in Kigali and see what's happening. I think even before we finish, that's when we decided to start ABF, who Act for a Better Future. Why people did not know what's going on outside and how they should see the world. And then we were like, what can we do with the little we have, the resources we have, and try to open doors for other people, for other young people, so they can see the best in the world and develop their own life, I would say, despite the life they are living in Mahama refugee camp. And to be honest, that's the proudest thing I've ever done in my life. And unfortunately, we get to a point where we couldn't continue that. But I was talking about ABF, and and when we started it in 20, oh, that was in the end of 2020, right?
Yeah, yes, but we started it that well in April 2021.
Yeah. But I think the first meeting we did, it was in around December
The
2020,
Yes,
and then
December
yeah,
2020. Yeah,
officially we launched in April 2021.
yeah.
So I was saying we started it, but my mind realized we are wasting the only resources we have. Our countries, we don't have so much. Maybe we don't, but we don't know. But what I can see, we have people. We have uh, a young population, and that's the capital we have now, the human capital. But then we were wasting it. The thing with the human capital is it's the brain capacity you having. That's what you're selling to the market. and in Mahama refugee camp and most of the camps in sub-Saharan Africa, we are wasting those resources. We are wasting that biggest resource we have. And then I thought, let's open up the young people's mind, Mahama refugee camp, so they can see things are possible. I was living in Mahama refugee camp from 2015, but at the end in 2018, I was able to leave. Now I'm doing my undergrad in Kigali. Now I have blah blah. I have a job. Now I have an internship. Now I have like for most of the young people who were living in Mahama refugee camp, they saw it as impossible because everybody's like, there is no way out. So we might, we, I don't know, we are going to die here like this. But for us, we're like, let's show the young people that it's possible and share the experience, help them to write, apply on schools. I to some point in time, I said, if in 2016 Meso Shalom got enough support, enough funding, so they can take every single young people and then take them to school, whether university or another secondary school outside the refugee camp. Mahama refugee camp will be a different story today.
Yes.
Will be a different story. Nah, that's the thing. So I wonder, this is happening. We are talking about life in a refugee camp, but it generally, what's the way out? It's not only for refugees, but also for the broader communities of our countries, looking at the politics and everything going on. It looks like there is no way out or an end to this. I wonder what you think about the the current situation or the situation that have been going on for ages.
Yes. Truly speaking, currently I'm in love with people's mind, including those ones who are still in Mahama, especially young people. You can see the way they are trying to think or trying to make them out the situation like that area they are in. You can before like we're thinking in like joining these local universities. But currently, you can see a student graduating from secondary from Mahama or from refugee camp, even though he's not or she's not getting like higher education, but the person is moving out the camp to go look for a nailsmith out there or even attend some programs. Even not, they're not even also not thinking to study here local, where you can find them some trying to apply across the continent and also across the world. And even some of them are getting some opportunities to go to study in Kenya, in Ghana,
Mhm.
in Senegal, in France, in yes, out of Rwanda. But yes, you can see that the mind is now open to everyone. A student is graduating not only like with thinking like where am I going to go, I'm going to get married. Even ladies, you can see like they are not having that mind of graduating from senior six and getting married as it was before. You can see like nowadays there is a different mind in young people there.
Yeah,
um like if they keep on getting some information, because like getting information is helping and helps having that information, truly we can be having in the future great young generations with a great mind. Yeah, based on the current situation, what I'm saying, attending these local universities,
yeah.
outside universities, even attending different programs, trying new things, you can see a great progress compared to how it was before.
Interesting.
We even our ABF. Though nowadays kinda not working, but you can see it made some importance during this time because like based on the ideas and like the topics we shared, you can see it had opened mind to people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. These days, I'm working on on a paper, so I'm writing a paper, and hopefully I will finish it very soon, and hopefully will get published. I mean, it's I'm interested in how did we get to this situation? The situation I can see it and everything, but how did we get there? How did we get here? So it's just reading from 1884 before the colonization and during the colonization and a bit after the colonization up to date. But the focus is how did we end up to this place and see why even after the independence, let's say it's a bit of a historical thing, but my interest is how did the murder of Rwagasore when he was killed in 1961, how did he affect the country? Because the guy had the vision, then before we know it, he's gone. So the country had no vision at the moment. So everybody was like, let's figure out how are we going to blah blah. It's a lot of history and things, but the thing is, you can see the country have been allocating resources in different fields, but in a way that it's not favorable to solve the real issue of the country. But it's building up this mountain of challenges to be solved. But you can't solve the challenge without finding the root cause of it and then solve it first of all and then be able to tackle the problem. That's actually what ABF were doing. Open up people's mind. They know they can, and later they will be able to focus on their life and live it. But I'm glad actually we managed to help young people, and I'm glad of people like Eve. There are guys like Gilles who really used to a maximum the mentorship we provided in 2020, 21, 2019, 2022, and it's life changing. But when you read the history, that's when you see, oh, actually, it didn't go wrong here, but it's from a long time ago, long time ago, and then we inherited this thing until today. But I'm glad young people are realizing, well, I know a little, so I have to develop my knowledge and skill set and be able to make my ends meet, not only in this country, but yeah, all over the planet. It's amazing, and I think the region and the country will benefit from that. To be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah, will benefit from that. I I think one point, looking at the history of the region, or let's say Burundi, when you see, I was reading something in that was published in 1991 something. I think I shared a screenshot of it in our WhatsApp group
Yes.
where they allocated
The resources.
the
The
resources.
from World Bank.
Yeah, it was published by the World Bank. It was $578.5 million. That was in 1991. And you know what? One US dollar was 175 point something Burundian francs. Well, now
Yes.
it's like now it's like
It's
10,000.
6,000.
6 or 7,000. It's insane. Yeah. What could happen in 20 something years, 30 years. It's amazing. Look, they have Uh, okay, let's read this. For the total, so this is how they allocated it. A 28.8% was for the infrastructure, including roads, maintenance, and a reform program in the transport sector,
Yes.
development of telecommunications, network, water supply, and urban development. Okay, that's good for 28.8% of the resources. B, agriculture and rural development. That was in 23.8%, with special emphasis on farming systems, research, improving extension services, and forestry and fisheries development. Okay, that's fine. C, structural adjustment programs. Those are like programs they have to implement. So the World Bank would give them money. So it's like compliance things. That was 21.1%. D, human resource development, 15%. They should have been given 30%, in my opinion, especially in education and the preventive health services, and the family planning, industry, and finance programs. So, look, industries and finance program, it was given 4.9%.
4.9%.
4.9%. Those industries and finance programs, those are the things that lever up the country, the economy of the country. You manufacture of things. You have the financial banks, investment banks that are give loans to entrepreneurs to be able to develop and create jobs. But you give it 4.9%. That's not enough.
It is not.
Another thing, it's not. Another thing, they allocated the money to energy sector, 4.8%. In my little understanding and very humble opinion, this should have been given 30%, because whatever we're doing, the reason why we are not developing enough, we don't have enough energy, source of energy, so we can be able to have a running internet, so we can be able to have water supplied for irrigation, for whatever. We don't have energy. 4.8%. This should have been 30%, to be honest. And technical assistance program 1. Yeah, I was like, if I was the one to allocate the budget, that's 500 whatever million euros USD, I would say 30% to energy, 30% to maybe 25, let's say 30% to infrastructure and things. That's 60 now. So we have energy, we have infrastructure. Then you go to education and healthcare and things like that, and human development. But if you have energy, you have an energy supply. Every country has access to electricity. Everybody has access to that. People will be able to have those telecommunication systems running. We will be able to build the roads. We'll be able to light the country and everything. We'll be able to study at night because we have electricity in our homes. We'll be able to read at night. And it was like, this is where we went wrong. I mean, in terms of real things, economic things, but I think that was not good. That was not a good
And
allocation
I
of resources.
wonder, I wonder, what like the infrastructures will be doing once we don't have energy plus in industries and finances.
That's the thing. That's the
Because like
thing.
the money we get from finances and industries will help into building those infrastructures.
Yeah. It's there is also a correlation between countries' use of energy and the development, and it's very positive. The more the country has enough energy, they use it, and the more the country is developing at higher pace. Let's
Yes,
say, if in the agriculture in our regions there is a shortage of rain, or we will need it to irrigate our plantations and everything, but you can't. We don't have water supply closer to the plantations and everything, so we need to get water from places far away from where we're planting, and then transport it, I would say. So we needed the energy, and they invested 4% That's insane. No.
that is that.
Anyways.
It was done now. It cannot be corrected because it was 40 years, around 40 years ago.
30 years, yes.
Yes, it's around 40 years ago now. We have to focus on the current situation. Uh, because but history may we base on the history to know where we are heading.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said if you become the president, well, it's not like the president has to fix everything, but he's the head. I'd say if I'm the president, my only focus is try to get energy to everybody in the country. That's one. And I don't care how we're going to get it, but we have to focus on that, build infrastructure, and give people access to information. It means develop libraries all over the country, have enough connectivity across the country. So if you manage to get energy in the country, you'll be able to build those infrastructure easily, I would say, and you'll be able to light and build different places in the country, like libraries, and people will have access to information. You will be able to have connectivity across the country. But if you don't have energy, if you don't have electricity, how the hell are you going to be able to achieve all that?
You know, personally, sorry to cut you short. Personally,
No, it's okay.
I would not focus on even like physical libraries, like these books.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I would focus on soft ones if I got into like information access.
Mm-hmm.
Because like from these books we learn different things, but kinda okay. I don't know if it is my opinion. Kinda opening up my mind, but it is not giving the current information.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Okay, like if I'm reading like seven habit of successful um,
Yes.
people, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to open my mind, but it's not going to give me the current information because currently we are accessing information from social media. The information is it, it is easy to get nowadays.
Okay.
Like these hard books, these like physical libraries where they can go to read books. Yes, you gain skills, but you don't get to the current information. Personally, I would, okay, it is my opinion,
Yeah.
um, including to like commenting to what implementing not implementing commenting to what you've said, and also supplementing on them, also like I would encourage or make emphasis on the youth uh, empowerment, especially on the education and leadership as well as entrepreneurship. Focusing on Burundi. Like you can see here in Rwanda, we are having this cornerstone
Mm-hmm.
and the cornerstone, this secondary school, and this Agahozo village,
Mm-hmm.
and also these current universities like Kepler, African Leadership University, um, Aquila. the way you can see them focusing on the soft skills than practical ones.
Hmm.
You can see like here in Rwanda, they if I try to see, people are focusing on the soft skills versus practical ones, these technical ones. And they like these soft skills are the ones that are opening up people's mind, as ABF
Yeah,
was doing.
yeah, yeah.
Even in Burundi, including two energy, including two infrastructures, including two um, industries, including two finances. I would also focus on the youth soft skill,
Empowerment. Yeah.
yes, youth empowerment, especially on the soft skills, be it communications, be it professional skills, be it um, entrepreneurship, be it leadership.
Yeah, it's true. You say they're focusing on electronic books or access to information. I think as someone who worked in a library for a year and looking at what's there,
Mm,
it's interesting when you actually read a book. For me, at least, what I do when I read a book, it's not only that I'm focusing on consuming the information from that book, but I'm interested also on what am I going to think after reading that book, how the book is going to influence me to develop new ideas. It's not only that I have to read the updated information, the current information, but also the history. I can read something, the old fashioned thing, and then be able to develop or build a new idea in my mind. And what is actually, what are you doing when you read a book? It's like building connections in your brain and develop as many neurons as possible. And then later, some of them at the end, after you read 100 books, maybe they will connect, and then you're like, puff, this is the idea. Now this is what I can do. Yeah, but you're right. Electronic books, access to information is very key. In my opinion, is very key. If I'm able to
yes.
do that, I would create a newspaper. I would build the printing houses all over the country and then distribute the newspaper to every single family, because we don't have the reading culture in our countries. Some people don't know how to read. Not everyone who knows how to read and do whatever. But I think it will be a good practice for the future of the country and the region to develop
I get,
that.
I get a curious question.
Hmm.
Currently, you are in a, a developed country.
Yes.
Yes. Do they do that?
Here it's available everywhere.
Uh-huh.
On the supermarket, you can
Yes.
find newspaper you read. On the street, they in these uh, places with many people, you can find newspaper where you can take it and read it. But also, that being said, it's a developed region or country, so the access to internet is 24/7, electricity 24/7. So people have access to information, their phones, tablets, laptops. So they tend to read on their phones. But also, what I can say, what I've seen, people still buy books and read them at home, take books home, read them before they sleep
Yes.
or wherever. But to answer your question, yeah, they don't distribute it to every family, but you can access it. You can have it wherever you want it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think they really focus on information and analysis of the information to
Scientifically,
develop.
scientifically it is not even good to read like to be on the computer or phone before before we sleep. Though we do that mistake.
Yeah, it's not good. So
Having like a physical book is good.
no, it's good. And what I like when I have a physical book, I can see it, I can feel it, and say, "Oh, okay, turn the page," and then no, okay, turn the page, and then you feel. When you finish reading it, you know, okay, you can see it, and then you say, "Yeah, I finished this book." But for an electronic book, okay, you see the name of it saved on your phone or your computer. It's like, yeah, it's another file as a photo. But I can say reading a physical book, physical thing, it's very good. I think if I manage to do that, I would make a deal with publishers and translate some of the books in Kirundi or Kinyarwanda, and then give it to the give it access to it to a broader community of because there are those books that you can read and your mind and your life is changed forever. So it's yeah, it's I know I've read this book. It's a self-help book, but when I finished it, I was like, wow, wait a second. Now I see. Yeah, now I see. But it's not everybody in Kigali or in Burundi who is able to read in English or in French. Most of the books are published
The
in.
book is called.
It's called this Think and Grow Rich. It's amazing. Napoleon Hill, I think, it was published
Oh,
in 1937. Something. Yeah, it's an interesting book.
okay, that's good.
I read it and I was like, I wish I read this book when I was 17 or 19. Yeah. So you when you grow up, you realize how information is key.
It
So
is called
providing access to information.
Think
Sorry.
and Grow Rich.
Yeah, by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill. Yeah, I think that's the guy.
Yes, okay, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
an interesting book.
I'm downloading it.
It's yeah, it's to be honest, you read it and then you're like, okay, yeah, I should have done this when I was young, and yeah, it's a good one. There is also The Alchemist, Alchemists. It's a good one as well. Uh,
Okay, thank you so
yeah,
much.
it's yeah. I think I think access to information, we still have a problem with that, and I think, at least in my opinion, is we need to have access to information or provide access to information for everybody, and then people will be able to make their own decisions and be able to make good decisions. Because nowadays, people still believe everything other people are saying, which is not true. Somebody should say
Yes,
something, and then you say, "I have to verify that before I make a decision."
yes. We are
Yeah, but
even. I think you've seen this Gen Z from Kenya. This
Gen
strike that,
Z.
yes, this traffic that have
Ah, yeah, yeah,
been
yes.
passing by. You know that we were so fearful that Kenya is in danger, while these people have days they do strike and other days, days and hours they do strike, and other time they are working.
Interesting.
Yes, they do strike on Tuesday and Thursday,
Yeah.
sometime, and they go back to work. But people outside Kenya, they know that Kenya is in danger, they are in hardship situation, while it is a programmatic thing.
Yeah, uh, I think we still have that problem, and our leaders, I would say, they. I'm not saying they don't do their job. What I'm saying is they do their job in a way that they are starting from 6 instead of starting from 1. and go up. Now you have to start from the bottom because that's where we went wrong. That's where we went wrong, and the focus. It's I would say if you are interested in that, I would send you the articles, and then you will be amazed to see what happened those 1960s, and then you are like, yeah, this is where we went wrong. The problem is not today. The problem is not this political party. The problem is not this leadership. The problem is the one that happened in 1960s, and then we need to. It's we're gonna say this, but it's fun. It's profane. It's the country is fucked, so we need to unfuck it. So we have to go back in 1960s so I can unfuck it.
Yes, and now we are in 2024, and we have like, okay, I'm mentioning for Africa, we are
Yeah.
having this agenda of 2063. Let's live it and live in it, and also try to be in it, not just for to be not just being the followers.
Yeah, I think every young guy or girl or everybody who can think on his or her own, he should think, okay, how can I benefit from this, but also contribute what I have to contribute, play
There
my
is
part.
there is something I learned during after this Kagame's election, presidential election
Hmm.
here in Rwanda. At
Yeah.
church, there was one woman who mentioned like two women actually. One mentioned like people who lived in Vision 2020 of Kagame since, and they read some goals and they try to focus on them with a vision of 2020. Now they are on another step of life.
Hmm.
The lady was mentioning, if we live into this 5 years mandate, as the country is giving vision to live in, and also we set goals of 5 years and we live into those goals, we can find ourselves into different situation which is different from the one we are in now, because of some small thing we set with a country's vision. And
Hmm.
it is true. Another woman mentioned like the issue we Africans are having is not the white people, it's our issue. Those people, be it they are praying, be it they are not, be it they are believers or not, the good thing they made into their mind, the principle they're having, they are honest. If
Yeah.
they tell you that I'm going to do this thing, he's going to do it the way he mentioned. But for us, we are still lying. The second thing, the lady mentioned, we are time wasters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truly
That
speaking, eh?
100%.
Yes, time wasters, and also not, uh, I mean, not be having that integrity we are supposed to be having. You got a
Yeah.
job, you start looking around where you are going to steal from instead of
Yeah,
doing
it's
it right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Someone is telling you that we are going to meet at Gishushu at 5 p.m. At 5:10 you are saying I'm on my way while you are still at home.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's true, it's true. And I hate the idea of people saying, the problem we're having it's because of the white people, wherever. No. Actually, that statement showing you are the problem. That's a you problem. What I can say is those you blaming, they showed you they can do everything in their own power to make ends meet for their people.
Yes.
I'm not saying what they did was was good, or it said something to say, hey, that was very good for your people. But what I'm saying is they showed they can do whatever possible to make ends meet for their people. But what are you willing to do as to make ends meet for your people as a leader forever? Which means you have to look into your own devices and say, well, maybe I'm the problem. How can I fix it? I think I think saying that, mentioning that statement, it's from a nil informed person, I would say. And you know, the Moses the people need to lead throughout this exodus for sure. If you say that statement, I think when as I told you, I'm currently reading a lot about what happened in 1961. That's when you see, focusing on Burundi, let's say, it's not what we see. It's not what we see. We have to go back to the roots and discount, is you discounted the effects of today back to 1960,
Yes.
1961, and then you will see, ah, okay, this is where we went wrong. And then this compounded until today. But the issue is not this one we see today. The issue is the one in 1960 something. But then how can you fix it? Now we are in 2024. We are not still a standalone country. We are in different East African Community, African Union, the United Nations. They have the goals for the planet and they have to participate. How can you compromise as a country but still work not on the vision 2060s, but try to discount that vision up to where you are, what is applicable to you? Because you're not going to say, okay, look, listen, we're going to focus on green energy and we save the planet. And that being said, you can't build a nuclear power plant because it's not ecologically efficient or saving the planet. Well, I would say first of all, give your people energy, and then they will think about saving the planet after that. But well, that's a stupid statement to make. I'm not any expert. Disclaimer number one: those are my opinions. Those are
Yes.
my opinion. But I realized when you look back in the past, that's when you say, "Oh, this is where we went wrong." It's not actually this, but it's the thing that happened in 1960 something, and it's but it's incredible, but and I like that people now start talking about that. Say, look, listen, don't blame anybody for what happened. What happened happened, and it's done. People have been talking about that for ages, and 100,000 books were and articles were written about that. So it's done. But what do we do now? Practically, solving the challenge, and
Challenge.
it's
Yes, yes.
yeah, it's not an easy job, I would say. Some people blame presidents and say, "Hey, he's not doing enough for the country, forever." Listen, if you get put to that position and you say, "Look, okay, now you're saying you can, okay, here it is. Show me how you're going to do that." Trust me, you're going to be overwhelmed. At the end, will you'll be like, "Yeah, now I can see it's not an easy job to do." What I'm going to say, okay, can set a vision and focus on that, and
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
That's it. That's it. Do you know, in after the independence, no, there is no regime or presidency or leadership that lasted at least a year, until like 5 years after the independence. There is not anyone who led the country for a year. So we're like, 9 months, he's gone, push, whatever. another one. He's coming. It's like the country was left without a vision, and all those people were coming into leadership, leading the country. The country was like a baby, but they
Are you
didn't have a
mentioning
vision for
Burundi?
that. Yeah, I'm mentioning Burundi, yeah, because I told you I'm a bit of reading a lot about the history and things. And I was like,
Oh,
yeah, that's that's a very damaging thing.
trying to remember, um, in
Hmm.
Burundi there were some. Okay, the first one, he didn't lead like an year, but the following ones, because there were this strike coup d'etat that were happening in
Hmm.
Burundi, they managed the country, they led the country more than 5 years each. Like
Hmm.
Michombelo, it was about seven, Bagaza around 11, Buyoya. Yes, they were leading the country more than 5 years each.
Yeah,
But
that
starting
was
from 93,
yeah,
1993, that's when
yeah.
it started, like till 1995 actually, whereby everyone was reading the country 3 months, 26 days, four
Yeah.
months, like things like those ones.
I mean, from 1961 up to 1966 or something, there is no
Yes.
one who led the country for more than a year at least.
Oh,
So, but
okay.
then starting from 1966, 7, whatever,
Yes.
so they started leading the country for a 5-year term or something, and then coup d'etat, and then after that, yeah. But it might not be accurate 100%, but there was a period that shows you there was no vision for sure. To be honest, there was no vision, so somebody can lead the. And it's interesting. I'm reading things I didn't know about the country, and I'm like, yeah, this is where we went wrong. It's anyways. Well, I don't know how we get into this rabbit hole talking about politics and the history of the country, but it applies to the situation we found ourselves into in 2015. Now we are refugees. Why? Bad leadership and all that happened. So those are the effects
Oh,
of.
actually, you made me look at the things, what you're saying,
Mhm.
be true,
Yeah,
because like I'm not seeing president be before 66.
yeah, that's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because when Rwagasore was killed, so his father couldn't fit in the modern Burundi, the independent Burundi. So his young son has to take over, and then after, and then he couldn't handle that, and it continues until 66, and yeah, that's when you realize, the country didn't have time to build a vision, build a legitimacy, and then so people can inherit something strong, a strong leadership. So basically, the country had to reinvent itself. Remember the famous speech of Rwagasore? He said he dreamed or he wants a Burundi of
Yes.
peace, happiness, and prosperity. So, well, peace. He wanted to reunite the country. He was a Ganwa from Ganwa family, and then he married actually a Hutu woman.
Yes.
And the history is so funny. He had physical characteristics of Hutus, so he appealed so much on Hutus, even if he was a Ganwa, basically
Yes.
saying he was a bit of Tutsi. But he appealed so much on the Tutsi population. He was actually loved because he married a Hutu woman, and he was a Ganwa. And basically, Tutsis would like him because they say those Ganwas were from the Tutsi families. Tutsi ethnic group, and then he dreamed of reuniting the Hutus and Tutsis in the country. That's one, and he tried his best. The second, he wanted a happy country. I don't know what he meant by that. Happiness, I don't know. But the third was saying about prosperity. So he
Yes.
wanted to prosper the country. And he's the first guy who created the agricultural cooperatives. Even if they failed, but he was the guy to initiate that and then started uh, uh, putting cooperatives, putting people together. He was a bit of reuniting them, of course, because most of the agricultural people were Hutus in the country, so we're bringing the Hutus and Tutsis together in those cooperatives. He was the best guy to do that, and he was well connected. He was a Belgian educated politician, and he had
Yes.
connection with different people, Rumumba and other guys. So he had the vision for the country,
Yeah.
for prosperity, unity, and the happiness. I don't know what the hell he meant. But then when he was gone, nobody had anything. He's the one who had the vision for the country, and he was basically well educated. And now what? We don't know. Now what? It's interesting. I don't want to get you into a lot of I don't know, a lot of
Politics,
politics thing.
even
Yeah,
currently, I'm not bit involved into politics. I'm trying to
no,
go far from it.
no. For me, I just read the history and I'm like, wow, interesting, interesting. Yeah. Oh man,
It's
it's
something that I might face internet issue. I'm seeing
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think I
I can
mentioned
tell
it in
you.
the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it was really nice to have you on the podcast and have some conversation and catch up. To be honest, and congratulations for the new position. And I want to hear from you a couple of years now, telling me now I'm the managing director of Jibu, and you can do it. You can
Yes,
do
I
it.
can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
Though it is not one of my targets, but I can do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, man. And we hope to catch up again on the show. I hope you will agree to speak when I reach out again.
Definitely, and for sure, it was really good. I was not expecting this. Like I was expecting things like interview, but
No, it's a
I
conversation.
even got to learn a lot from you, from the past, from the history, from different things. For sure, it was really nice, and I would I will be glad. I will be glad, and for sure, I will join. Definitely.
All right, man. Thank you so much.